strategic imperative. One of them being to invest disproportionately in our luxury business. And so, to add another layer on top of that conversation today, I'm joined by our good friends from Sotheby's International Realty to talk through how they bridge luxury with inclusivity. So, as we go through today's session, please feel free to drop any questions you might have in the chat. And now, please help me welcome our panelists for today. First up, the one and only Tammy Fahmi. She is the Senior Vice President for Global Services and Strategy for Sotheby's International Realty. She has been instrumental in growing the brand across 83 different countries. She's been a featured guest on our What Moves Her podcast, and I'm going to drop her podcast link in the chat for everyone. And she's also been recognized as a 2024 Housing Wire Woman of Influence. So, Tammy, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I'm thrilled to be here.
And next we have Melinda Jordan, also known as MJ the Closer. She is a global real estate advisor with Jameson Sotheby's International Realty based in Chicago, Illinois. And she is the founding member of the Black Luxury Agents Collective. They are a affinity group within the Sotheby's International Realty Network. We're going to get into what they're all about in a lot more detail today. And I'm going to drop a link in the chat to their website, their Facebook group, and also Melinda's Instagram, because if you have, the Monday Scaries, she does this really great motivational Monday mindset quote. So please feel free to give her a follow. And then rounding out our panel, we have Delroy Gill. He is also a founding member of the BLAC affinity group within Sotheby's International Realty, and he is a global real estate advisor with Live Sotheby's International Realty based in Denver, Colorado. And get this, he is also consecutive year winner of NAREB's #1 top producing agent in the country. So that's major. And I'm also going to drop Delroy's Instagram handle in the chat. If you want some real estate envy, please give him a follow. And I'm going to also share a link to NAREB, the National Association of Real Estate Professionals. They're a dear partner of ours, and they represent the Black and African American real estate professionals. So let's get started. Clearly, we have a wealth of knowledge on this panel to share with the group. And I'm so excited that everyone will be able to learn from these experts, really, on how to bridge luxury with inclusivity. So Tammy, let's start with you. I think there's a lot of brand recognition already surrounding Sotheby's, but please help familiarize us with the brand, and give us an insider look at the brand identity and its global footprint and why you think, there's such global appeal of the Sotheby's International Realty brand.
Well, I always enjoy answering this question, Tiffany, so thank you for posing it to me first. If we could, Justin, share our brand, what we refer to as our brand scorecard. This can give everybody kind of an overview of what the Sotheby's International Realty brand has achieved in the last year. $143 billion in sales volume. We have more than 1,000 offices in 83 countries around the world, as you mentioned, Tiffany, which, it's nice to say, but it's also a very meaningful statistic, because as I think Melinda and Delroy will be able to attest to firsthand, it enables our global advisors to connect not only themselves with other global advisors around the world to learn about best practices, but also it enables a level of service to our clients that wherever they need real estate services, we have the most professional global advisors around the world to help them. We are the number one profiled luxury real estate brand in the news with over 65,000 press placements. So, Tiffany, when you talk about, the Sotheby's International Realty brand being known, it's because of the great work of our PR team and our marketing team. And of course, the over 26,000 global advisors around the globe who represent the Sotheby's International Realty brand. We had more than 52 million visits to our website last year. Again, this all speaks to the level of interest in the Sotheby's International Realty brand, and we're really proud of how we've, over the last almost 20 plus years, really, started from, uh, let's see, I joined the brand in 2006. We were in 4 countries. We're now in 83, and it's been an amazing growth story. And I'm just so proud to be affiliated with the team that this brand has attracted.
I mean, those are certainly very impressive numbers. And, it's clear, right? The brands then is diverse from the franchising model, the growth through the global footprint, but then also, diverse through the network and the agents that affiliate with the network. So talk to us a little bit about how, that diversity has really enhanced the goodwill of the brands and how Sotheby's International Realty is continuing to foster that diversity and inclusion.
Well, Tiffany, we're focused really on the amazing thing about our brand is, again, our global advisors. And we're focused on supporting them and their growth. So, in doing so, we've created what we refer to as affinity groups, which the BLAC group is a really great example of an advisor led initiative, which then, we can, as a brand, support. So BLAC is one example. Excuse me, we have Pride Connect. We have the Women's Inspiration Network, which I'm going to put a plug in. We have an event later on this afternoon at 1 p.m. about why women agents rock. So I'm excited for that one. But the great thing about this is, again, led by our amazing agents and supported by a team internally who is so dedicated to this. And I can't not congratulate Letitia McCougan on our team, who has really kind of led the initiatives and really shined a spotlight on the importance of supporting the growth of our agents in this way. We really want to make sure we hit a couple of goals of ours. One is reflecting the communities we serve. Um, that's so important that the community finds that they can relate to our brand in many different ways, and this is one prime way to accomplish that. It's also important that other global advisors see themselves in our network, and Melinda and Delroy are so generous with their time and efforts that they really bring a relatability to other global advisors who are either interested in joining the Sotheby's International Realty brand or are already with our brand and are looking for a community to become a part of. And so we want to make sure that we're supporting every background, every global advisor within our network, and those who are looking to join us. We do that by supporting the affinity groups, trying to amplify their message, helping them to connect with other agents in our network, making sure we're visible at industry events. Thanks to you, Tiffany, and your team. We had a very successful activation recently with ARIA. We've been present at NAREB, our global networking event where Delroy and Melinda had a significant presence there as well, representing BLAC. So these are all the things that we're thinking about, how to reach consumers and global advisors in a different way, in a much more communal way.
Right, absolutely. I think what you're saying, is resonating on a lot of different levels, right? Like the diversity that we have, whether that's organic, it's still very important to intentionally continue to foster that and support that. So thank you for sharing. So then diving into the affinity groups within Sotheby's International Realty and specifically BLAC, the Black Luxury Agent Collective. Melinda, I'm going to turn it over to you because as a founding member, I'm just really curious, what was the impetus? What was the spark that started all of this?
Well, thanks for the question and this platform. The Black Luxury Agent Collective, you'll hear us call it BLAC, was really established to create a community amongst the Black advisors within the Sotheby's International Realty Network. As, as just spoken, where less than 1% of our 26,000 global real estate professionals are Black. Now, what we did, we recognized that this gap exists. And our founders saw an opportunity to build upon Sotheby's International Realty's legacy of excellence, creating a platform to empower the Black advisors, amplify our voices, and foster wealth and inclusion within our communities. We grounded all of this in a shared passion around exceptional service, wealth building, thriving with this unwavering support of the brand being our biggest committed ally. As Tiffany, as you mentioned, I am big on quotes because I'm an avid reader. I would say we kicked this off with the idea, just following after Nelson Mandela. One of his famous quotes is, "It always seems impossible until it's done." And so BLAC carries that spirit forward. Our goal is to break barriers in the luxury real estate space and champion equitable inclusivity for the generations we represent and those that are to follow us. So BLAC came out of a movement that turned into a mission that is now a cause.
That's amazing. And I think so important to, and we're going to get into this more when we talk about just luxury in and of itself, right? Because luxury in a way, is exclusive, right? So the complete opposite of inclusive. So thank you for that. So Delroy, as a founding member as well of BLAC, walk us through how it's created opportunities for the members, for you, and just those collaboration across the network.
Yeah, thank you for the question and having me today. I would say it's been a support system, right? This is something that the BLAC members are here to lean on one another, to learn from one another, and to help each other elevate. I think that's the key metric. We're in a Sotheby's International Realty ecosystem that already puts the highest level of marketing out, right? So we want to be able to support one another in ideas. How can we market the best, right? So we're ideation creation as an organization, but it comes from within, and then we're also helping support the community externally as well, right? We're going out, we're really sharing the knowledge. Hey, we exist. There are Black real estate agents in the luxury space. We're here and we're doing business and we're doing numbers. And what's really cool about having it branded and us coming together as a collective, now we have shared power, right? So we can use our numbers as a collective. So, we can say we done 200 million in sales volume. So as an individual agent, how does that help? They walk into an appointment and they can say, I have a network of agents that I work with across the country, and this is our sales volume together combined. That could be a brand new agent to the network, right? That has these level of stats that wouldn't exist otherwise. And of course, referrals, and it can organically come from that as you're meeting people and building organic and genuine relationships. I attended G&E, which is our global conference for Sotheby's International Realty, and the spike in the presence of Black realtors in general, not just members of BLAC, but just in general, I think resonated with me because of the impact I know it's having. They may not know why they're there, but they're feeling these trickles happening through the network, and they're feeling more welcome because they're seeing the videos, they're seeing the social, and they're seeing themselves, and they can make it as well. So I feel that it's a feeling and not just a business thing for me.
Absolutely. And back to quotes for a second, there is a quote that says, you have to see it to be it. So I love what you just said there, Delroy, because, we're putting it out there, right? That this group is here, here for the collaboration and just like you said, the collective power of what, a group can do together. So thank you. I mean, I think it's amazing really how it's become, started from a grassroots effort and now really kind of had and owned its own platform. So then back to you, Tammy, on that topic, right? How has affinity groups as a whole really just enhanced the Sotheby's International Realty network, through exactly what, Melinda and Delroy was mentioning?
Well, Tiffany, first of all, congratulations to Melinda and Delroy, because not only have they started something within the Black community, but they also have inspired others to create communities, which in turn, we want to support. So as a result of their presence and their discussions at the Global Networking event, other agents have approached us to say, you know what, we like what they're doing. We'd like to see if we could start something up too. So they are inspiring others, which I think is amazing. But it's also important to understand each of these demographics from a business perspective. And if you don't have a group that you can turn to ask questions, to say, how do you think we approach this? How do we reach these communities? I think we're missing out on a substantial amount of business. Tiffany, you talked about the word luxury. The word luxury is always associated with Sotheby's International Realty. But we always have said from the start, and I think others have started to adopt this, that luxury has never been about a price point. It's been about a level of service. And we want to make sure that each community understands we can offer them this level of service. And so it's important for our customers to understand that we are making the effort to make sure we understand and we can provide that level of service to capture that business. It's important.
Absolutely. And I love that because I want to move into really kind of luxury and inclusivity in the branding, and what better way to really, highlight this topic than with Sotheby's International Realty. So Melinda, back to you on this. Um, Luxury has lots of different connotations, right? We kind of mentioned exclusivity, something that is unattainable. Um, and in real estate specifically, right? We can even talk about it from an affordability perspective, and affordability is becoming an increasing issue across more and more of our markets. But Sotheby's International Realty and BLAC, you all do view luxury as a level of service and not as a price point. So unpack that for us a little bit. I think it's such and a just such a amazing way to look at luxury and make it inclusive. So please help us understand a little bit more.
No, absolutely. I mean, Tammy said it so eloquently. We at Sotheby's International Realty speak to luxury from a level of service, not a price point. As it relates to BLAC, we define luxury through that lens, but we take it a step further and say it's defined by the experience.
Mm.
It's about delivering a seamless, tailored, client-centered process that makes every client feel valued and, more importantly, heard. And in our community, that's the game changer. How do you create a space for your clientele to feel heard? Because many of us are first generation homeowners, first generation millionaires, six-figure earners. So we focus on being and delivering not just excellent but exceptional service, going beyond expectations to make sure every interaction is special, because the experience is first and perhaps special for them. So whether you're working on a multi-million-dollar transaction like my fellow friend Delroy, or you're helping someone buy their first or sell their first home, the focus is always on creating a memorable journey, because this journey will find its way through the generations of our clientele. So by redefining luxury in that way, we make it accessible while still preserving its exclusivity.
100%. I couldn't agree with that more. And I think to your point, right, it's almost breaking down, right, that perception of luxury, and really making people realize, no, like this is something that actually is for me. This is something that, in a way, that I also, deserve and should be a part of. So thank you for that. And then from a tactical perspective, how do you weave that inclusivity and that, luxury as an experience into your own personal brand?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. So many of us, when we talk about it as advisors, and I'll lean on Delroy as well, as we think of exclusivity and luxury starts with the understanding that excellence in service is really universal. It's possible to be both inclusive and exclusive in luxury real estate when you focus on delivering exceptional service that transcends boundaries. And that's through cultural competencies, global perspective, and representation. But for example, we create custom marketing plans that reflect our clients' heritage or curate property tours that cater to their specific lifestyle or the lifestyle that they envision. You mentioned earlier, Delroy's marketing is an excellent example and a game changer in that way. He inspires all of us within BLAC and within the network to just take the lid off the jar. And by doing that, inclusivity means making sure every client, regardless of their background, feels that they belong in a space traditionally viewed as exclusive.
Well, and Delroy, same question to you. How have you found the way to craft, an inclusive personal brand that really translates and reaches, people from all different backgrounds?
Yeah, I've focused a lot on sharing my journey. So I didn't start in luxury. I'm born and raised in London and then made my career in Denver. But I started out doing short sales and pre-foreclosures, $30,000 condos and helping people not get kicked out on the streets. And that's how I built my database through the years and just built real relationships. So I still carry that, even though, yeah, now I'm selling, $8 million houses. It's like I still have that ingrained in my brain of like, I need to help people and really educate them because that's how I got into the business. So I always come from an angle of luxury, but approachable, and really want to educate people and give them the knowledge that I wish I had when I was buying a house, right? Before I become a real estate professional, I didn't know so many things, and there's like key pieces of information that can help people not get taken advantage of, right? I'm here to almost protect. I come at it like this is a family member, and how can we do this the best way possible for this client that we're going to be serving? And BLAC, I do want to just make sure it's out in the open that this is I'm born in London, have a Jamaican background, but BLAC is like a Jamaican restaurant, right? It's like, this is come one, come all. We are here to collaborate and taste and share and dine with us, right? This isn't about this is for us and we're keeping this thing here. We partner with other affinity groups. This is a shared experience that we all want to help each other grow within this network. And that's how everyone should see it. It's right. These infinity groups. Now, how can we collaborate with them? How can we share these ideas? And that is a part of personal branding too, is how are you going to show up yourself and add value? It's not about taking, it's about how are you going to come into these environments and really offer something to people. And so within my personal brand, that's why I really focus on how can I add as much value to my clients, to the organization, to other infinity groups, and just like showing up and always trying to make time for stuff like this so we can always be sharing.
I love that. And I think what I'm hearing is the theme of really just centering others in how you approach things, right? And that's the value that you're delivering, and that's the inclusivity that you're just exuding, right? When you are centering others and really trying to understand their needs, that's how you can make them feel like they're getting that luxury level of, customization and service. So thank you for sharing that. And then Tammy, back to you for this. We talked a lot about, the personal branding, inclusive branding, the brand recognition of Sotheby's International Realty. Talk to us a little bit about how the brand is also leveraging its partnerships, to further communicate out that inclusivity and, expand its reach across diverse communities.
Well, in addition to supporting the affinity groups, and I love what Melinda and Delroy said about bringing their own personal experiences as they've grown through the industry to help deliver an amazing experience that a consumer will remember forever. And I think Melinda hit it the nail on the head because, you know, the Sotheby's International Realty brand resonates. Obviously, there's those who are already wealthy, but there is a whole group of um, consumers that we want to reach who are aspirational. And so, you know, these are different generations, and we have to be in tune with how do we reach these different generations. So something we're doing at Sotheby's International Realty is, you know, we announced that we launched our first influencer partnership with a designer called Jeremiah Brent. You know, he's an AD 100 designer. He's a television personality, an author. He's got over 1 million followers. So this is a demographic that we want to reach. And so we're trying different partnerships to see how we can get in front of, you know, a group that may not already know Sotheby's International Realty. We know that today's consumers are seeking authenticity. And if, you know, Melinda and Delroy are the definition of authenticity. I think it doesn't get much better than that. But you know, we're trying to reach new audiences. We participate where we think our clients are going to be. We have a great partnership with Art Basel, Miami Beach, where, you know, many art collectors, again, even, you know, aspirational collectors are there. So we want to be there. We, of course, have our partnership with the venerable auction house that's been in business for more than 250 years. So we're always trying to leverage different partnerships so we can reach different audiences.
And it sounds like even though through those partnerships, right, we're seeing how, you know, the who's occupying like luxury, you know, is also changing and becoming more diverse. And that's, you know, I think been a really positive thing to see because, you know, I think maybe I was speaking with someone within the brands that even in the auction house, right, we're seeing like sneakers, you know, kind of entering this space of luxury items. And so that cultural kind of you know, elements that are being infused that typically weren't there, I think is also a really interesting way to see how luxury is changing and how brands like Sotheby's International Realty is really showing up, right, to then be able to service, you know, those clients and just everyone from all of those different backgrounds. So talk about kind of like approachability, but luxury, you know, I think this whole conversation is just such an interesting, you know, different nuances to go into. And, you know, as we've all been talking about inclusivity and personal branding and luxury and delivering a luxury level of service, something I'm hearing a lot is, you know, centering others, understanding their needs, and really trying to show up and service them to the best ability that you have. Um, so, Melinda, you know, you mentioned this a lot in the remarks that you were making, and how that's a big component of bridging luxury with inclusivity. And so I think it's coming at a time where you know, our demographics are becoming more and more diverse every day. So home buyers and sellers, your client base, right, could be from all walks of life, all different identities, backgrounds. So understanding their needs requires a very high level of cultural fluency. So walk us through, you know, how do you develop that cultural awareness for yourself so that you can then deliver that luxury level of service and an experience?
No, thanks for that question, Tiffany. It's actually an interesting one. And I laugh because I remember this quote my mom used to say to me and my siblings quite a bit. There's a reason God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. And by that, I mean, you know, getting to cultural competency, we believe begins with active listening, education, and having an open mind. Personally, I've deepened my awareness through, um, you know, most recently completing the Certified International Property Specialist designation coursework. Through that work and that coursework, I was able to learn quite a bit about all of the continents and many of the countries built into that. In addition, Sotheby's International Realty has an unbelievable global market virtual series where we get to go deeper within the 83 countries we serve to understand what are the nuances, what's unique. And just personally leveraging my domestic and international travel to gain firsthand insights into diverse cultures. And this network is simply profound in that way. So for Black, well, really BLAC, our focus goes beyond being excellent because many are excellent. Our goal is to become truly exceptional and create an exceptional experience. And so within BLAC, we create programming and opportunities, as Delroy spoke to grow and develop one another in this space so that when we represent any client, we're reaching them where they are.
Thank you for that. And, back to quotes for a second, because we love them here. You have a quote that you posted: formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And so I think that's just such a succinct way of really what you just shared with us, that it's an investment, honestly, right? To be able to have that cultural fluency to then make you just that more empathetic to your client experience. So speaking of empathy, that's a huge part of this too. Being able to understand and recognize other people's experiences, understanding their emotions, what they're going through, and responding with that intention and care. So Delroy, to you, how has empathy played a role in that? I think you shared with us that, you really start and share with your story, and that's a point of vulnerability, honestly, for some. And so walk us through, how those skill sets, right, vulnerability and empathy, has really played out in your personal brand and how you show up for your clients.
Yeah, I've had to work on it through my life and career, and you can ask my wife, and she said I've become better at being vulnerable through the years. So yeah, it's a an ever learning experience that we're going through. We're here to learn always. Stay a child, right? Stay childlike, I should say. But we always want to have that curiosity. And I had an experience once in a business group, and we were talking about our purpose and why we do. And one of the individuals ran a newspaper company, and he was talking about his purpose and how much he was mission driven. He had a purpose, and he was like, "There's probably not that much purpose in real estate. Like you guys just like sell houses and you do these big numbers and everything." And I thought, wow, like that could be a public perception, right? And so I had to give him some background of my story and where I came from, and let him know. And at the time I was the only Black luxury agent in my marketplace. And so he was like taken aback by that. He was like, "Wow, really?" Because he had just seen me and known me and just thought this was like a normal thing. So he changed his tone completely. So we have to use our platforms wisely, right? We have to make sure what we're putting out into the universe is a message that supports and helps one another. And as minorities, sometimes we can be overlooked. So even like when you're saying I became, the #1 Black agent in the USA, it's like that platform is not just about an award for me, but it's also to show, yeah, I did 50 million in sales volume and I'm the #1 agent in America. That can also then show, oh, but the #1 just in real estate does maybe 400, 500 million. So there's actually a huge gap that we need to close, and we need to get that messaging out there as well so people can be empathetic about what we're actually standing on and what our purpose is and why we have BLAC and have these groups and why these affinity groups are important in the marketplaces. This isn't just about sales volume for us, right? This is actually about making true change in our communities in America and what we stand for. And we're trying to kick doors down and put massive boulders in front of the doors to keep them open, right? We're not just here for self. We're here to share and with each other as a group.
Yeah. And I have to laugh when, you got the question of, well, there's no real purpose in real estate because, real estate I have to say, I think is life-changing, right? Like where you live dictates so many other aspects of your life, right? Like where you know, just what you have access to and, you know, your opportunities. So if anything, I really think real estate, those like you and Melinda, everyone that is in the industry, like it's actually life-changing, you know, what we get to do every single day. So thank you for sharing that. I do want to pivot to some questions that we're seeing in the chat. You know, I think, of course, there's recognition that, you know, of the wealth of knowledge here and just the expertise. So, um, we have a question from looks like a Latina agent in Atlanta. So newer to the Sotheby's International Realty brand. And you know, just curious how someone like her, you know, can implement some of the things that we've been talking about and grow into the higher end market.
Who's
So,
going? Me?
want to take that, Delroy?
So I think first is set an intention. You have to really tell yourself and you have to really want to do it, right? So go at it with the intention, I am going to sell luxury. Like before I came to Sotheby's International Realty, I had never sold $1 million property ever before that. I just joined 7 years ago. So I came here with the intention that I'm going to do luxury. And then once I set that intention, all of the rest of the doors started opening, and I did all of the marketing as a luxury agent. I collaborated and went to every open house that had luxury listings. So I became educated about the marketplace. And then I started sharing that information with the marketplace, right? So the intention, the knowledge, and then share. So I think those 3 steps are the fastest way to gain traction in the marketplace.
And I think I'll take the second part of her question around how do you create a similar community within the brand. What I will say is how we came together is we actually scoured the market for our peers, and we pulled our peers together on a Zoom really right before G&E that particular year. And we really wanted to do 3 things. We wanted to bring us together so we could see one another in the brand and within the network. The second was we wanted to create a safe space for us to talk about our wins, what we're celebrating, where the gaps were, where some of our losses might be. And out of that, and Delroy, I hope you will echo this, we found family within a community. And it just grew organically, and the brand just embraced us in a way and said, you know what, this is a conversation we perhaps should have had a long time ago. We want to partner with you in creating the platform to make this grow. And so Letitia's been a tremendous partner in enabling us to do that. So start with your peers.
Well, thank you both for that insight.
Tiffany,
Another
one
question
other
we've
thing
got.
I might add for this agent, and I think Delroy hit on it, which is, you know, you can utilize the stats of the brand as a newer agent to talk to the value that you can bring. So, you know, Delroy and Melinda talked about a combined stat for the BLAC group, but even more than that, or in addition to that, you can use that brand scorecard that I talked about earlier as the start of a conversation of what you're a part of. And then talk about, we have the affinity groups, we have a referral network, we have the opportunity to get your property in front of so many people. So I think as a newer agent, there are a lot of ways. Melinda and Delroy hit on a number of them, and really rely on this global brand and what it's accomplished as your own accomplishments. That's what we want to do. We want to try to help open doors for our global advisors before they even set foot into their listing or buyer presentation. So lean on that and use it.
And just a tangible way to do it, because I used to literally do this verbatim, is my office has sold, or we have done, and in every appointment, we sold the most expensive house in your area, and it was all my office's transaction. So absolutely.
Thank you all for those insights. Another question we received was, do you find that there are different expectations of luxury agents when it comes to your clientele? Um, I think across the board, right, we, no matter what, intend to deliver that luxury level of service. But I guess from the client-facing perspective, have you seen anything different in terms of expectations? Melinda or Delroy?
Yeah, yes, definitely. I think that the level of vendors that you have needs to be much broader than a general practice agent. So things like having an AV guy, a blind specialist, a swimming pool service guy. There's just certain things that those clients expect you to have in the Rolodex that may not be for general practice real estate agents. And then just knowledge of the game, the environment, the streets, the locations, investments, and having access to a national brand. Hey, I'm Delroy. I'm going out to Costa Rica. Do you have an office there? Yes, I do. So going back to Tammy's point, I actually just went to Costa Rica, and it's more than just, hey, we've got this global network. I go anytime I go anywhere throughout the world, I will stop into the office and there is an automatic bond, right? And our clients actually, because the brand pushes this out into the universe, we have to solidify it, right? We're on the front line. So we have a common interest of becoming very good friends with one another. So when I went to Costa Rica, they took me around, they took me to dinner. It was like we were automatic friends. I'd never met them before, ever prior to that. And our clients expect that from us. They expect a level of service that when they connect me with their client that's moving from New York, or I send them out to Italy, they are going to get the same level of service. So yes, they come to us with those expectations.
I love that. Melinda, anything you want to add?
I would only add two things to that. Within this brand, we've had this unbelievable development platform called Ninja. Ninja teaches you how to work with clients at this level. And for those who specifically around the idea of Ford, right? Focusing on their family, focusing on their occupation, recreation, and their dreams. Because even though they are high earners and they're doing exceptionally well, they still dream. And a part of what we do for a living as advisors is we help them dream bigger and we help close the gap on the things they want to do next. So as Delroy mentioned, having that Rolodex of partners to support them is also tied to unique experiences that might be outside of real estate. I have one of my largest clients. He and his wife have 2 kids. They haven't vacationed in a long time. So I gifted them my vacation home for a week. And all they had to do was get there. But that's creating experience for them because you're spending so much time with them, you get to know where can you insert yourself to help elevate and enable their dreams.
Wow, that's really special. And, I think just speaks to, again, the level of service, right? That then makes it, luxurious. So thank you for that. We do have a question in the chat too. And, Melinda, who can join BLAC and where do they find more information about it?
Oh, we love everybody. Come join us. Well, as dropped in the chat previously, and we'll drop it in again. The first pass, we would say, join us in community. We've got a private Facebook group that includes our members, our allies, our friends, our family. We not only trade information on referrals, but just learning. We also have a website where you can go and learn about what it looks like to be an ally within the community. Obviously, if you with the brand, we can work through that as well. So we welcome all partners and allies to find their way in what is the right relationship with BLAC.
Tiffany, I want to jump in here for a minute because, something that Tanya Roos said to me many years ago, she probably doesn't even remember she said it, but, it stuck with me and it resonates, especially with the question you just asked and Melinda's answer, which is you don't have to be a member of a particular community to support and embrace it. And that has really stuck with me, and it's one of the drivers of our affinity groups. When Sotheby's International Realty is supporting an affinity group, it's because they welcome everybody. And it's not, only for this group or only for that group. It's really all inclusive, and there's always a way to support, even if you're not a member of that particular community.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that and that reminder, right? When we're talking about, hey, it's not exclusive. That's been a big theme of this. And, for folks joining us who are also on the corporate side of our business, our employee resource groups, and we have affinity groups as well at Anywhere, the same goals, that it's not because you have to be a member of that group. It's for anyone that wants to just embrace the community, and collectively support it. So thank you for that reminder, Tammy. So we're almost at time, but I would love to just go through and see if there were any last takeaways that y'all wanted to share with this group. We've talked through so much from, inclusive branding, and by an extension, that of personal branding, kind of this luxury level of service that is allowing us to bridge luxury with inclusivity, and how cultural fluency and empathy and vulnerability all play a part in that. So Tammy, any last words that you want to say to this group?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Melinda and Delroy as leaders, not only within BLAC, but within the Sotheby's International Realty. It's important to take that first step. To create something that isn't there, that's the definition of leadership. Without you taking that action, it's not going to happen. So I would just encourage everybody to step out into leadership, and whatever that means to you, whether it's by way of support or starting something new.
Thank you, Tammy. Melinda?
I would echo that. I would say, however what you want to see in the world, be that. Wherever you want to show up, show up. I'm always going to leave you with a quote. It's just in my wheelhouse. I'm always driven by Maya Angelou's quote. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And so showing up intentionally in whatever space you've been blessed to be present, be deliberate and fearless.
Thank you, Melinda. And Delroy?
I want to say thank you to everyone who is on this Zoom today, and I want you to leave with the strength and power that you can. You can, whatever it is. If you want to be the best luxury agent, if you want to just start getting into luxury, you can do it. And there are communities and people here to support that for you. Have a database. Let me just get really granular. Get a database and work it. Read The Go Giver. And if you're going to Art Basel in Miami, as Tammy mentioned, I'll be there. DM me on social.
Thank you, Delroy. And yes, everyone should have the handles for Melinda and Delroy as well, if you'd like to get in touch with them. Thank you all so much just for sharing your time and your perspectives with us. I'm certainly leaving inspired by this conversation, and I'm so encouraged that Anywhere and through our brands like Sotheby's International Realty, we're really looking at things through an inclusive lens, right? And as an example today, even in the exclusive world of luxury. So thank you all for just what you're doing every day to make real estate just that much more inclusive for all. So that's it for us today. Catch future episodes of Making Moves That Matter, where we continue to talk about how DEI is an essential business strategy at Anywhere. In the meantime, feel free to join one of our ERGs for more programming like this. And also, if you're within a brand, feel free to reach out to the Sotheby's International Realty folks to learn how you can get more involved with BLAC. Until next time, take care and be well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tiffany.